Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Coach Matt, EliteThrowsCoaching.com. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, we are on part 2 of a 5-part series that's talking about how you get all your athletes, all your throwers on the same page the first week of practice when you're dealing with a really short season. And that's what we have right now, guys. We are dealing with COVID. All of our seasons have been shortened. We have a very limited amount of time in a normal season. And now we're here during COVID times and we have even a shorter season than normal. So this is going to be a 5-week series going over the first 5 days of practice, and this is week 2. So here's what you need to do. If you have not watched week 1, you need to go up into that link that just popped up and watch week 1, because that explains everything that you need to know to get you all prepped and all ready for this video today. The other thing you need to do is go right down below and click that subscribe button. That is super important. You also want to click that notification bell to get all of our future videos. You'll get notified as soon as those videos come live. That way you don't miss any of our future content. Okay, so day 1 is completely over at this point. You've basically shown your athletes how to hold it in their hand, how to put the shot up against their neck, where to put their fingers, how to carry it in the basket instead of in the palm, and you've also showed them how to get their feet lined up on the circle to make sure that their hips and their feet are facing down the middle of that throwing sector when they release the shot. Well, now we need to get them into a couple different positions. The first position we're going to teach is that power position, what I call the reset drill. It teaches your athletes how to reset back into that power position. And basically the first 30 minutes of this second day of practice is going to be getting all of your athletes to go into that reset drill. So the first part of that reset drill is what I call the 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock drill. You're going to do about 15 to 20 of those per athlete. It's going to take you about 2 minutes. We'll show you in just a second what that looks like. After that, we have the weeble wobble drill. It's hard to say. Weeble wobble drill. You're going to do about 15 to 20 of those per athlete. Again, that's going to take 2 to 3 minutes tops to have your athletes do 15 to 20. Again, we'll show you what that looks like. After that, we have a weeble wobble to a one-legged squat. This is where things get a little bit difficult, but this is where we start to introduce your athletes to the concept of shifting their weight and keeping their weight back on that power leg or on that power foot. And finally, we have a weeble wobble, a one-legged squat with a twist. This is going to put them into that proper power position. So again, you're doing about 10, 15, 20 of these drills per athlete. So we're not going to be in the circle. We're going to be back on our lines. And last week I showed you I was here in the gym on the red line. This week I think I'm going to be on the blue line, because really, what does it matter? It doesn't matter one bit if you're on a tennis court, if you're on the track, a basketball court, a parking lot, using parking lot lines. It's a really good way to get your athletes the concept of having their feet aligned and to get them used to turning their feet going down the middle of that sector. We'll show you all what that looks like. Now, once we get them into that reset drill, then we need to talk about how to come out of that reset drill, how to start with all their weight back, start in that proper power position, reset back to that proper power position, and then how to come out of it and combine what we're doing in the first 30 minutes with what you did yesterday, because that is super, super, super important. How do we connect into that release? So we're going to start with grounding. So we're going to ground their blocking foot and then reset. Then we're going to ground their blocking foot and close their power leg. And then we're going to reset. And then we have ground, close, slap, reset. And then we have ground, close, slap, pull and shift, push. You'll see it's a lot easier than what I wrote out here, okay? If you guys can remember these 8 drills, hopefully you pause the video right now, you write down these 8 drills, you write down if you're doing 15 to 20 per athlete, and then you take it out to practice and you're good to go. So right now we're going to turn the camera around. I'm going to take you through every single one of these drills, show you exactly what they look like, and if you do the drills in this order, again, this is exactly how I do it at my track camps when I have 20, 25, 30 glide shot putters that are all different levels, all different ages. Some have never even held a shot in their hand before. This is how I get them going from never even picking up a shot to doing a full glide and hitting a PR in the first 4 sessions of a track camp. The first 8 hours they're there, 4 2-hour sessions, basically your first 4 to 5 days of practice at school, how we get them getting into a full glide and throwing PRs the very first week of practice. This is day 2. Let's turn that camera around and show you what this looks like. Also, before I get too far ahead of myself, check this out right here. What we're gonna be doing is checking to make sure that their weight is on the power foot. We're gonna be checking when we go through all of these steps. And also you can do this with just your fist up against the neck, pretending that they have a shot in their hand, or you can actually put a shot up against their neck. Newer athletes probably wanna go with the fist, thumb down, fist against their neck like they've got a shot in their hand. The older athletes, the more experienced athletes, you can probably go with actually having them hold a shot when you do all these drills. All right, so turn the camera around, put it on the blue line, show you what this all looks like. Okay, so if you watched last week's video, you recall we were right next door on the red lines and we were facing the camera, releasing over the camera. Essentially, the camera was in the middle of the throwing sector. We were releasing over the camera with that red training ball, with that red physical therapy ball. Now what I want you to do is pretend that you're on the side of the circle and I'm gonna be releasing this way. It's the same way I was releasing last week, just you as the coach or as the camera, you're in a different position. So last week, what did we do? Feet were on the line, right? Feet on the line, step back, both feet are on the line. Now, the first drill that we're gonna do is called the 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock drill. We're gonna be doing about 15 to 20 of these per athlete. This is gonna get your athletes to turn their feet back to 9 o'clock if they're right-handed, 3 o'clock if they're lefties. But assuming me as a right-handed athlete, I'm gonna be talking like a right-handed thrower or somebody coaching a right-handed thrower. This teaches them to, number one, like I said, turn all the way back to 9 o'clock with their feet, but it also gets them to stay on their toes, which is super important. You don't wanna be flat-footed in this position. You wanna be on your toes. So, get on those lines, just like you see here. We're gonna pivot on the toes toward 9 o'clock, toward you. If you look down, we are in a pretty good toe instep position. Rotate back, still pretty good. 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock. 9 o'clock, I'm on my toes, 6 o'clock. 9, 6, 9, 6. So what did we just do? Maybe 8 of those? Again, if you're doing 15 to 20 per athlete, you can tell that only takes a few minutes. Very simple, but it gets your athletes to understand that to start that power position, they don't start by looking down the throwing sector, they start with their feet pointed toward 9 o'clock. All right, now once that's done, we go on to the weeble wobble. This is where things get kind of fun. You wanna start, same idea. We want that toe heel or that toe instep position, and we start to weeble wobble. This is what it looks like. You're gonna go all your weight onto one foot, all your weight onto the other foot. So all your weight, you can see the gym's logo goes over one foot, the gym's logo on the other. Now what you're gonna see are some of your kids are gonna do this. They're just gonna go back and forth. They're not actually gonna shift weight. They're just picking up their feet like this. Sometimes you see kids that shift and their legs kind of come in a little bit. They start to bring the opposite leg in. See how I'm doing that? You want them to keep that foot out there. So shift weight, foot out, shift weight, foot out. Shift. Now they might go too far. That's okay. Shift back, shift, shift back. Very simple weeble wobble from side to side. And again, you're gonna do 15 to 20 per athlete. I mean, honestly, what does this take? Is this taking about 2 minutes, 3 minutes to do all of them? Not really a big deal. And again, if they go too far, that's okay. This is where we teach them about shifting weight. They need to know how far is too far. So if they fall over, which they inevitably will, totally okay. Just have them set back up and weeble wobble. Alrighty, the third drill of the day, weeble wobble to a one-legged squat. This is where things are going to get a little bit tricky because again, you're going to have them do the same thing. Their hips at this point are going to be a little bit on fire from keeping the legs apart. You're going to have them weeble wobble, and when all their weight is on this power leg, so as a right-handed thrower, that's my right leg, I'm going to bend this right leg until the left foot touches the ground. Okay, so it's weeble wobble to a one-legged squat. Now again, what are you gonna see? You're gonna get a lot of this. Weeble wobble, and they're just gonna go and they're gonna put their foot down without bending this leg. So weeble, wobble, and they're just gonna kind of do one of these. Okay, you wanna see a one-legged squat. You wanna see this foot, this leg bend all the way until their foot touches the ground. And you can have them bounce a little bit just like this. Do that one-legged squat. At my track camps, my shot putters, the second day of camp, are usually limping out to the circle because one leg is really sore. Weeble, wobble, one-legged squat. Okay, and now exercise 4, drill 4, weeble, wobble, one-legged squat with a twist. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna have them take a look at something that's behind the circle. So you take a look, what's out the back of the circle? What's out 12 o'clock? Okay, is it a garbage can? Is it a car in a parking lot? Is it the school? Is it a tree? Whatever's back there, that's what they're gonna be looking at. I have the mural of the mammoth back there that's busting through the wall. I can look that mammoth straight in the eye from where I'm standing right now. So all we're gonna do is the same thing. We're gonna weeble wobble, okay? We're gonna teach them to shift all their weight, weeble wobble. Then we're gonna one-legged squat, and then we're gonna twist. So now what does this look like? This is basically getting their lower body into a power position. I'm up on the toes. If I look down at the ground, I'm still on the line with that toe instep or that heel toe position. All of my weight is back, and now this is where we start to get them to check. Check to make sure they are in a good power position. How do we do that? We do that by picking up the blocking leg, their non-dominant, their non-throwing leg. Okay, so we're here, weeble wobble, okay? One-legged squat with a twist. And can I pick up this foot? Yes, I can. This is how you check. So I'll yell to my athletes, I'll say check. And if they do it correctly, they're not gonna do this. Yep, I can pick it up. Yep, I can pick it up. They're gonna pick it up, lift it, and just hold it right there. This means all of their weight is back, and they can just simply pick up the foot without doing this monster shift in weight. And again, we're in a power position at this point. Now that they're in that power position, all of their weight is back. Their power leg, power foot, power knee are all pointing at 9 o'clock. Their shoulders, their stomach, their belly button, their chest is turned back and is pointing and looking at that object back there. They're up on the ball of their blocking foot. All their weight is shifted back. They're in a proper power position. Now, about the first 30 minutes of practice is gone. And now we get to talk about how to come out of that power position and actually throw. Okay, so we've taught them how to reset into a power position, and now it is time to get them to come out of that power position, start moving into that standing throw, and connect that to what we did during day 1, which is those release drills, okay? So the very first thing we're gonna do is we are going to teach them how to ground their blocking foot, ground and reset. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Ground and reset, we're gonna start off in that power position. So we are going to reset, okay? So what is the reset? Remember, shifting all of our weight, bending this power leg, and resetting back into a power position. At this point, they should have either their fist or the shot up against their neck, and their non-throwing arm is back. And when we ground, all we're talking about is taking the blocking foot. As a right-handed thrower, that's my left foot. And we're going to turn that blocking foot and put it flat on the ground. Now, where should it be pointing? Should it be right down the middle? More than likely, that's not gonna happen. But it shouldn't be pointing at 9 o'clock either, okay? So what it should be is kind of pointing down toward like 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. You're not gonna get it all the way down to 6. That's not the most ideal position, and you certainly don't want to just put it flat at 9 o'clock. You're going to turn that foot and put it down somewhere around 7 o'clock. Okay, that's normally what I tell people, or if you're in a circle, it's going to be about parallel to that right sector line, kind of right here. Not on the right sector line, but parallel to it. Hopefully that makes sense. So what are we going to do? Weeble wobble, one-legged squat, rotate back, twist back. We're up on the toes. We're going to check. All of the weight is back, and then we're going to simply hold our upper body back. We're going to hold our non-throwing arm back, and we're going to turn, and we're going to ground this blocking foot. And then reset. Ground, reset. Ground, reset. Ground, reset. Ground, reset. You're going to go through about 15 or 20 every so often. Check, make sure all your weight is still back. Check, ground, reset, check, ground, reset, check, ground, reset, check. And you're going to go through about 15 or 20. Teach them right away how important it is to ground that blocking foot. That's something that a lot of athletes miss. A lot of athletes are never taught how to do. Teach them to turn and ground, flatten, ground that blocking foot. Okay, now we have to introduce closing. What is closing? The way I like to look at the power leg is like a door or like a gate. If you take a look at a door, like we got a bunch of doors here in the gym. Every door here in the gym has 3 hinges, a hinge at the top, a hinge in the middle, and a hinge at the bottom. And when you close that door, all 3 of those hinges will close at the same time. The bottom one doesn't close first, and then the middle, and then the top. Okay, so when a lot of coaches talk about this power leg, they talk about toe, knee, hip. Our friend, toe, knee, hip. They think turn the toe, and then the knee, and then the hip. It's not really the way that it works. We don't want to see that as 3 parts, toe, knee, hip. We really want to see all 3 of those things turning, all 3 of those things pointing down that throwing sector all at the same time. So think of it like slamming a door. You're going to slam that door. You're going to turn all 3. You're going to close that door. You're going to slam that door shut and close that door and point all 3 of those hinges, all 3 of those joints, the ankle, the knee, and the hip, down the middle of that throwing sector. So all we're going to tell our athletes, we're going to reset back into that power position, reset, and then we're going to ground, close, reset. Here's what it looks like. At this point, weeble wobble, self-explanatory. We're just going to set up in that power position. We're going to check all of the weight is back. Then we're going to hold our upper body back the best that we can, and we're going to ground, and then we're going to close. Okay, see how I'm trying to keep my head back? I'm trying to keep my shoulders back. I'm trying to keep this non-throwing arm back. It's going to be different with every single one of your athletes. Everyone's different. We're all built differently. We're all more flexible or less flexible than each other. Everyone's different. But you're going to reset back, okay? You can look down, okay, still on the line. From here, check. Everything's on the power leg. Ground, close, reset, check. Ground, close, reset, check. Whoop, too far that time. Coach Matt made a boo-boo, no problem. Start back up again. Shift your weight back, reset into that power position, check, we're good. And now from here, ground, close, reset. Ground, close, reset. Ground, close, reset. If your athletes are having trouble, you can stand behind them. You can have them hold on to a rope or a bungee cord. You can even grab their hands or their shoulders if that's allowed in today's day and age. Hold them back so they can feel that stretch. When they ground and close, hold them back, hold them back, hold them back, and you'll be able to have them feel that big stretch, that big built up, wound up torque that we're looking to produce here in their midsection. Okay, we've got 2 more drills left to do. The next one we have is ground, close, slap, reset. Now in the past, we used to say, slap the giant, and I love that. I find the tallest person on the team, whatever his name is, say it's John, we say slap John in the head. We want to take that arm, slap that arm. Essentially what we're doing is we're kind of like that old picture of Babe Ruth calling his shot. He's up to bat, and he's going, that's where I'm going to send the ball. It's going up there. And your athletes are going to do the same thing. We're going to teach them a little bit about how to use that left arm. This left arm is so important. The non-throwing arm a lot of times gets overlooked. A lot of people look at the non-throwing arm as kind of being passive, where it just kind of comes around and they're thinking all about push. But really, we want to pull. We want to slap that arm. We want to throw that arm around and create a lot of whip, a lot of speed, a lot of velocity with that non-throwing arm. And we do that by teaching our athletes how to slap. All right, so we're back on the lines. We're going to be on lines for a little while here, people. Back on the lines. We're going to reset back into the power position. And 3 parts. We're going to ground. We're going to close. We're going to slap. Notice where my head and shoulders and shot, where are they? They're still back behind this power foot. They're back behind this power leg. Okay, so I'm not shifting my weight. I'm not thinking about throwing. I'm keeping my weight back. So watch how you can check. Watch this. It's going to be tough. I'm old. I'm broken. I might not be able to do it on the first try. But check it out. You can actually check at the end of the drill, not just in the beginning. Maybe let's check twice. Let's see what happens. So reset back into that power position. All my weight's back. Here we go. Check. Okay. All my weight is back. I'm able to check. Ground, close, slap, check. Still trying to keep my weight back. Reset. Ground, close, slap, reset, check. Ground, close, slap, reset. Ground, close, slap. Ground, close, slap. Look at where my hand's pointing. It's up here. Slap the giant. One more time. Ground, close, slap. Working on keeping the shot put back and opening this left arm. Not a passive kind of letting it flop down here like it's a dead weight. We want to slap, open that arm all the way up, and then reset. Ground, close, slap, and reset. Okay, and now we have made it. And essentially for the last part of practice, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you have left until the end of practice, this is the drill that you're going to do. This is the one that's going to connect day 2 to what you did yesterday during day 1. Okay, so yesterday during day 1, we worked on staying on the line and we worked on pull, shift, push. Remember that? Or shift, pull, push, come back. Shift, pull, push, all starting to blend together. Pull, shift, push. Shift, pull, push. Yes, I'm saying them differently on purpose. Pull, shift, push. They kind of happen together. Pull and shift. Pull and shift. Pull, shift, push. They all kind of happen together. So now we need to take what we've just done, resetting into that power position, and connect it. Well, the way we do it is with this last drill. So this is what you're going to do for the rest of time that you are at practice. We're basically going to go through kind of a very choppy, a very robotic power position throw, a very robotic standing throw. And we're going to smooth it out over the next couple of days. Okay? So we're going to do ground, close, slap, shift, pull, or pull, shift, push. 6 steps. The 4th and 5th one, like I said, they kind of blend together. Sometimes people, myself included, will say pull, shift. Sometimes we'll say shift, pull. They happen so quickly, they basically happen at the same time. I just like to teach them differently so the athletes know that, yes, it is 2 things happening at the same time. All right, so let's get set up. Look down at the line. Here we go. Weeble, wobble. Let's go through the whole thing. Weeble, wobble. One-legged squat. Reset. Shift into that power position. Now, let's go through it, okay? We're going to ground. We're going to close. We're going to slap. We're going to pull, shift, push. Reset. Now again, you can do this probably best to do it open-handed. Have the more advanced athletes put the shots down and then go through it. Ground, close, slap, pull, shift, push. Reset. Check. Then, let's put it together. Ground, close, slap, pull, shift, push. Reset. Now let's put it together more. Ground, close, slap. ground close slap, pull, shift, push. Now let's do all 5 and hold on the push. Ready? Ground close slap, pull, push, reset, and ground close slap, pull, push. See how it all blends together? If you break it down step by step by step, now you're gonna have all of your athletes. Day 2, end of day 2. Your beginner athletes who have never even held a shot in their hand before this week. Your intermediate athletes that have maybe been out with you 1 or 2 years, and your advanced athletes that have been with you for 3, 4, maybe even longer amount of time. Now they're all on the same page. And from here, now that we're done with day 2, we can start moving on to the glide. So look what we've done in 2 days. Look at how we've been able to accomplish all of this with just some very simple position drills. And now, is everyone going to be perfect? No, of course not. Of course no one's going to be perfect. You're going to have to keep reiterating to them, hey, shift your weight back. Hey, check and make sure you can pick up that blocking foot. Hey, you're forgetting to slap. Hey, you're forgetting to pull. Hey, you're forgetting to shift. Hey, you're forgetting to ground. You're forgetting to close that knee. That's what coaching is. But here what we're doing is we're giving all of our athletes all of the ingredients, everything they need, all of the steps, the step-by-step procedure, all of the mechanics of how to go through that power position, and we're doing it at the end of day 2. Isn't that crazy? I think that's pretty crazy. I certainly didn't learn this way, but it's taken years to develop this, and now you guys have all of these steps in your arsenal that you can take out the very first week of practice. This is only day 2, the first week of practice to help you out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for checking. Make sure click that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and finally, if there's any comments, any questions, anything that you'd like to leave, please leave it in the comment section down below. That's where this video came from here on YouTube. Somebody left a comment under an older video. I was able to read that comment and say, hey, coaches are looking for this. Let's put some videos together. So if you have anything you're looking for, leave that comment in the comment section down below. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next week when we go out for day number 3 of our first week of practice.